in here. So, all right, welcome, welcome. It is Divine Art Alchemy time for our course correction. So,
New
already
moon,
here.
new excitements, new feels, new energies, new topic. Course correction for the remainder, or starting now, and for the remainder of this entire cycle.
Yeah, that's exciting. Okay, so let's settle in. Let's take our 3 breaths. We got one for just being present, letting all of it go, one for the collective, those that are in our thoughts and in our hearts, and then one for that special intention that we have being here tonight. So let's go ahead and just take a deep breath and just let everything go. Let's take a breath for that collective. And one for a special intention that we have for tonight. All right. And if you have your candle, we'll get our candle ritual. They're sniffing. Oh, nice picture. Yeah, looks good.
It's black candle.
Black. I love it. Let this flame represent.
Let this flame represent
The wild spirit that burns within each of us.
the wild spirit that burns within each of us.
As we awaken our own wild spirit.
As we awaken our own wild spirit,
May we awaken the collective.
may we awaken the collective.
All right. Put that someplace safe. All our paper.
Yeah, really.
All right, got incense. What do y'all got tonight? Got stones, incense.
Clove. I love these. They're really big and beautiful. There's one that I have that I'm saving it for the full moon. It looks like this huge, gigantic witch's hat. It's curved.
Ooh.
And it has like this perfect, yeah. I'm saving that one for the full moon.
Was that a mistake or was that like a special buy?
No, it was just, it's a huge bag of clove incense. So I happened to pull out enough for the entire month, and immediately thought of the witch's hat when I did.
That's awesome. Clove is probably one of my favorite smells. I don't know what that is, but
Really?
I like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, but I don't know, like there's got to be a memory in there somewhere, I would think.
Yeah,
Just for it to be such a
this time of year, and those spicy smells, and being a Scorpio.
Yeah, really, because it's just hit me just when thinking about that. That is a smell. All right, you want to go over our mantra and our keys?
Yeah,
we'll get started.
Let's do that. Well, first off, I was looking, instead of breathing like I should have been, I was doing last minute stuff of looking up something that I want to share with you guys. So our new moon is in the morning at 3:18 a.m. And that is today's the 25th. Tomorrow's the 25th, I mean.
Yes. I have it at a different time. That is odd.
Well, I have an app that says it's at 6:48 a.m. That's
Right.
the app that's actually on my calendar. But when I pull up the iLuna app, it says 3:18 a.m.
Oh, that is so odd.
Is the iLuna app sunk with the East Coast?
No, I got it. I figured it out. I just figured it out. Okay. So it
What is
is, yes, Kathleen, it is. So it technically, the peak of the new moon is at 6:48. What's at 3:18 is when Scorpio enters the moon.
Oh, good.
Or
Like
the
that
moon enters
clarification.
Scorpio, I should say. Okay,
Right.
yeah,
So
so
the
there's
peak
the difference.
is 6:18.
6:48 a.m. We're at
Oh.
the peak. So we're
At
already
the peak.
Yeah, we're
Right.
already there. And then Scorpio and the moon hit at 3:18 a.m. Okay. And then something else that I wanted to say and just kind of introduce, and Joe, you'll totally get this, that starting at 8:35 p.m. Eastern tonight, we enter this phase called void of course. So that is where you go from one house to the other. So we are moving into Scorpio. So that's why I was like all hyper focused on the Scorpio time and got it confused, and I apologize if I
So
confused
in
you.
the void of course, there's a gap
Mhm.
of pull on the moon.
Yeah, so it's
Or in the
almost, it's as if it's in retrograde for just a short amount of time. Right. So it kind of slows down because it's in an elliptical cycle, and it just slows down for a second. And there's a little bit of time, and usually just a few hours, and it varies. And so I'm not being vague on purpose there. It really does vary. It could be just a few hours. It could be like almost a day. But there's a small amount of time that the moon is not in any of the zodiacs. So that's what void of course is, that it's free from any aspect, any other sign whatsoever. It's free and on its own. And
Do you
that's void
feel
of
that?
course.
Do you feel that?
No, I don't. I don't think so. Let me rephrase that. I don't think so. I used to really pay a lot of attention to it, tons of attention to it, and always made sure that I didn't start anything new, and that I would finish things up before it would happen, and I would take that time as kind of a breather. But I've stopped doing it, so I'm really glad that to introduce it back into, with the workshop, to introduce it again and to have the conversation every now and then. So because we go through all 12 signs, the moon does, it's such a rapid pace. It's a lot to keep up with, and it can be a little exhausting at times. And by the time you may feel it, by the time you look it up, it could already be gone, But I just wanted to call attention to that because, here we are right now starting our course correction and focused on duality and emotional healing and getting into that Scorpio energy. But we know that the new moon's all about, taking that time for contemplation and meditative thought and those practices. And as we're about to go into void of course, that's a perfect time to do that. So if you don't really have an intention in mind yet, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. Don't push it. It'll come. But let's go through the keys so we can at least get some wheels spinning.
Can I say one thing before you do that? Just because I have this visual in my head, like the moon and being like a car, like where you're shifting gears. So you're going through, right? And the void of course is that neutral. When you pushed in the clutch, you're in between before you get into the next one, and you think, it's like that energetic, because you're in gear, you're pushing on the gas. You take the void of course when you're shifting gears, because it can be, if you've ever driven a manual car, it can take a little bit of a time or a long time, depending on your expertise. And then move into the next energy, and it can be flawless, or or it can not. But that's just like the visual I have in my head of like the moon and the cycles.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, thanks.
And did you say that starts, the void of course starts at tonight at 8:30?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 8:35. So, it'll start, well, we're still together, but by the time that we finish tonight, just relax, put it away. Don't worry about it. And in the morning, we will be at 6:48.
48. Yep.
We will be in the peak and in Scorpio, truly in Scorpio, sun and moon. Okay, so with the course correction, yes, we have Scorpio, of course, but we also have the emotional healing and duality, and kind of contemplating all of that using authority and boundaries for our main keys throughout the month. So what are your boundaries so you can heal? And how black and white are those boundaries? How fluid are those boundaries? What is there duality there? How our emotions influence our behavior, right? Are they driving it? Are they in that car? Stick shift car is just taking over and completely in control. Or do you guys hear the dog snore? I'm sorry. It seems like every time I'm like quiet for 2 seconds, a big snore comes through.
It's sleeping.
Are they the emotions in complete control, or do we observe them, right? Are we in control of our emotions and observe them and feel them and allow them and then pass on, allow them to cycle through the flow? Do we listen to our inner guidance? I know we touch on that one a lot, but it's always good. And especially this one, the thing that's interesting about this topic, and even bringing up that inner guidance thing again, is that the last 2 months have really kind of connected with this month a lot, right? That alignment, that unique alignment of just, making sure that we have everything. I continuously think of the spine, that we're sitting up straight. We see everything. We know what we need, what we want. We know how it feels in our body and in our life. And then, of course, there's our infinite possibilities, right? We could see our potential and we know what to do. So here we make the little minute adjustments in this course correction to make this happen. So what duality looks like in our life. I think that one's probably going to be an interesting one, and maybe the toughest one of the month is that duality. How, not only our relationship with it, but how we react to it, especially in the emotional healing state of the world over the last couple of years. How we react to others that are healing emotionally, what boundaries we put up. So what duality looks like, we're going into, especially right now, into kind of a political climate and season during this time frame. And I think this is going to be really important to pull back and have that empathy and compassion for others with totally different viewpoints than ourselves. So yes, that duality, and then intentional personal growth. So taking that time to do those deep dives in the depths of Scorpio and really taking a look at what we need to do, what really needs to happen. Another year's coming soon, and the cycle's going to begin again, different seasons. This is the time to shut it off and really have a look, a clear look at what that means.
I like that. Like thinking of the authority and boundaries, like that really is, because, a lot of times, they have to go hand in hand, right? They don't have to, but obviously for that intentional growth, they go hand in hand to take your authority and
they don't have to define us, but we've got to really take a look at them and make sure that, it's kind of like just taking a look around your property and making sure that the the fence is not decaying, or does there even need to be a fence there? I mean, really take a look at.
There's a broken fence every morning, okay? If that gives you a visual for all the healing, infinite possibilities for healing.
Yeah, okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
So there's a breach in
Now's
the
your time.
boundary
Mm,
with
Breach in the boundary.
regularity.
A breach in the boundary. All right, this is going to be a significant month.
That's what I'm thinking. All right, please report back. You have your
month.
assignment.
Well, that's what I say with having the horses. Every morning I wake up, and I mean it. They pop these boards in and out, and you just pop them right back in, hopefully, unless they break them. But that's part of having the animals, is fixing fences. So I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
So there's this really interesting thing I heard this morning about time. It was this woman, she's like kind of an expert on, I don't want to say time management but anyway, the thing that she shared was that if you, like, we don't value our future time very well. And so it's really easy for us to make like a commitment 2 months away, because we're like, oh, well, we'll have the time then.
Sure.
But it was talking about how whatever pressures and things that you feel today, you will feel that same kind of thing in 2 months. And so if that thing that you're being requested to do in 2 months is not something that you would do today, then you may consider just saying no to it, right? Like not committing yourself.
Fascinating. Oh my God.
Right? So,
Yeah.
and it just, I don't know why that blew my mind, but you guys were talking about boundaries and, authority and all that, if I heard it correctly. And,
Mhm.
and I really, I realized that it's really opened up something for me, because I never feel like I have enough time. And so,
That's huge.
yeah, I just think
This is your month. This is your month, girl. This is your month.
Scorpio. I listened to the Scorpio program you guys did the other day, and that was really great.
A lot of,
Yeah.
a lot of excitement on that one. Yeah.
It's going to be a spicy month.
Hey, Joyce.
Oh, all right. Well, who's ready for a meditation to get this party started?
Haven't even
Ready?
started yet.
We didn't know. We have really anchored in the course correction, and so now we're going to take it even deeper with our little meditation. So, all right. So, okay. So let's just settle in. I invite you to close your eyes, slow your breath, and take your head into your heart. That is your reminder to drop your head into your heart space. Just your complete mind, be present in your heart. And just to breathe and allowing space between each breath. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. As we explore our internal space, see if you can hold the intention to be fully present. Surrender, allow, and trust that there is some unique treasure to uncover here. Using our breath to connect us to divine source, allowing the fullest expression of ourselves to come forward. With each breath, cleansing and balancing our energetic field. Filling ourselves with divine source energy as we breathe in and releasing anything that isn't ours or for our highest good on the out breath. It's with our breath that we begin our spiritual journey through course correction. Taking a deep breath in, the deepest one that you've had all day, and let's dive into the emotional waters of life. Breathe with me as we explore the magical energy that resides within us all. Trusting our intuition to navigate these waters with ease and grace. Allowing ourselves to let go and glide effortlessly around any obstacle. The purpose of this exploration is to explore the depths of our emotions with authority and boundaries, using our breath to calm and anchor us to our divine light, accepting that the light and the shadows support our growth. Knowing that we experience pain and suffering when we see ourselves as separate from the collective. I invite you to see yourself as the divine creator of your life. Through your thoughts and actions, you create your world. If you don't like what you're experiencing, it's safe to choose differently. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You might lose people as you grow. You might question everything about yourself and your life before it's over. You know what you want. you remember what you want. What is it that you truly desire in life? Take a moment to reflect back to a time in your life when you experienced pure joy. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Anchor in that feeling. If you're feeling any resistance, create movement in the water, allowing those emotions to pass through you. Stay with your breath. Can you feel the happiness? Can you see yourself smiling, laughing? Look at your reflection in the water and see yourself happy and thriving in life. Look into your eyes and send yourself love. Send yourself compassion. Send yourself power and acceptance. This is your time of rebirth. Taking your power back so that you are as comfortable in the light as you are playing in the shadows. This is your time. Embrace it with gusto. Take one last look at yourself in the reflection and see yourself smiling back at you with a deep knowing. When you're ready, come back to the present moment. Come back to here and now. And open your eyes when you're ready.
Hey, Tracy. All right.
Everybody's being very quiet.
Tail end of that meditation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to make it like where I could see everybody, not just one person.
It's hard to do on the phone.
I slide to the, is that to the left? Slide your screen.
Turn it sideways too. You probably have to turn it sideways. Your phone horizontal.
And
I didn't do that.
definitely make sure it's in gallery view, which I guess it is, if you see some and not others, but, and she's gone. Oops. Oops.
Well, I swam with the dolphin and the whale.
Oh,
Starfish, and they went round and round. They jumped over me.
I bet
So
that felt good, didn't it?
I thank you for that. That was incredible.
I got chills when I said it was safe. When it's safe to
Aw.
choose differently, like right now, my body still says
Yeah,
yes. That's it. That's the one.
That's some invaluable permission, you know.
After just coming back from the ocean, I got back last night, and I went in the meditation. I was still there, and I just kept walking out. And there is a really where we go in October. There's this really far away sandbar. Is it a sandbar or sand barge? What are they?
Sandbar.
Bar.
BAR. BAR. Anyway, so I'm like way out there, and I could just keep walking and walking forever and ever. And it was, you know, like such an easy walk with all of this, a little bit of what you described, Joe, in a way. It kind of reminded me of that, but there's like all this scenery going around as I'm walking, and all of this, and it was more than marine life, but they were there too. But yeah, it was almost like, you know, behind one door is this option, and behind another is this option, and you can actually do it all, right? Like you could choose all of the doors.
Infinite possibilities.
Yeah. Still focused on that. That's
I really like this course correction. I'm always up for a course correction.
yes. Yes, perfect. And you know, I mean, I love that, you know, the whole thing is about, you know, still I desire, right? You know, what is it that you desire? With the emotional healing and the duality. Yeah, it's going to be deep but fun at the same time.
That's the plan.
Anyone else have meditation ahas they want to share?
I got a hug at the end. That was very surprising, and it felt really good. Like the hug, I like just in that water. It was like it felt very enveloping, and yeah, it felt really good. That was very much a surprise.
Or what? Who or what hugged you?
Me?
You hugged yourself?
Yeah. Looking at that last little bit, it was like I said, yeah, I was totally surprised. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, nice.
Must have needed it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Kathleen, are you talking to us? I see your mouth moving.
Sorry, yeah, I had to mute for noise. So Yeah, in the one part where you guys talked, or you talked about the recall a moment where we were joyful, basically. And it was funny, I had just had so many, it was almost like a bunch of like slides going through my head about, well, there have been so many moments, but landed on just, there was this moment at my wedding when everybody was dancing, it's like all these people that I love in one place, and like everybody was on the dance floor, and I think it was like Dancing Queen came on, and like everybody was having such a wonderful time. And I just remember just like yeah, like this was, like this is the best, you know what I mean? Like I knew it was like one of those life moments. So just like the movement, the dancing, the being with people I love, and the a culmination of a lot of time and work went into all of that. But I think that when I think about like myself as and a filmmaker, so much of that's kind of what I do too, is like it's like all this work goes into something, and then we get to do this presentation, and I get to invite all the people that I love, all the people I love, to hopefully share in it, and perhaps be entertained, and it be meaningful and whatever. And that is the work of my life, is to do that. And like I think it opened a door for me, because I've been looking for sort of a portal to go back into that world. And I think that feeling, could just be really grounding.
I felt that.
That's
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, thank you for that. That was beautiful.
Keep us posted. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm listening, y'all. I just walked away, but I'm listening.
All right.
Any other shares before I get into socks? Joyce, I don't want to put you on the spot, but anything you want to share or pass?
If she's there.
Sorry,
Okay,
I'm multitasking over here. I'm juggling like 2 phones and cracked screens and stuff. So, well, I like the part about remembering a time of pure joy. And I think I've actually mentioned this before, but it's when I saw the elephants in St. Louis. And I was like,
nice.
stupid giddy. But then it also reminded me of that like different times where I felt that kind of started just coming in. So, and I liked, sending yourself love and joy. I always see that as like Care Bear stare, and I use it a lot when I'm processing and with my clients, like they have to fill themselves up and they have to fill their timeline up because they're full. So I liked that a lot.
Nice.
As far as course correction, today has been an interesting day in general, but I don't know. I just think getting faster at that, adapting quicker. Like if you are triggered, you come back faster. If you become aware faster, you course correct faster, you respond differently faster. So today was kind of all about that. And then literally what I listened to at the gym, like read my mail, and I was like, okay, fine, I hear you. If I'm triggered and angry, that's my fault. I have to deal with it. So anyways, so that's kind of been the theme for today for sure. So quickly course correct. Don't hem and haw over it. Just do it.
Nice.
So That's where I'm at.
Very
I
nice.
like that, Joyce, that it's not one big course correct, some huge course correct project. It's course correct quickly and move on.
It's like a way of life, you know? And I feel like the better we get at that, the more like I don't believe in mistakes anymore. Like, you know, I was taught that, you know, very much growing up. I'm like, no, the path you think is a mistake is actually just meant you need a crap load of lessons over there. So the more you course correct quickly, you're passing go and collecting $200 instead of a million lessons over here. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's
Something
really
I think
cool.
about also is like, sometimes it's not even that big of a correction. It's just a slight adjustment, if that makes sense. That
Yeah.
it's like when you're, but a little tiny, but you know, as it branches out, that it has a huge impact.
Yeah.
Just like if you're laying tile and you fuck one up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's going to be screwed up really bad at the other end of the room, right?
Right.
But if you just stop and correct it right there in that little spot, that's all you had to do, right?
Yeah. And if you ignore it, then it does become that path with all the lessons because you ignored it. Right.
It's the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
How they say that butterfly fluttering on one
Oh,
part of the world can create the
Yeah.
event on the other side of the world. That's what I think about when I
Tsunami.
think about. Yes, when I think about that, it's like that butterfly effect. It's like the micro movements and those little course corrections that, like, yeah, because a lot of times, I mean, especially in the old society, you know, we were taught to shove it down, you know, so little things become big things. But if we take care of the little things now, it definitely doesn't have to become a big thing.
Well, I haven't pulled this out in a while, but
I like it.
exactly what I think about of, you know, you're working on this higher plane, right? We're getting into this higher frequency. And when those little triggers happen, those situations happen, instead of sliding all the way down or falling a few runs down and having to climb back up, it's just maneuver to the other side a little bit, take a breath, take a look, and then just keep going up.
I looked at that
Love
thing
it.
and thought, that looks painful.
Yeah, well,
That was a good visual. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
one? Mine or Trish?
Yeah, the stone. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I always keep it on the windowsill for that reminder. You know, it's just a moment in time. It's okay. We got this. No guilt, no pressure. It's okay. I know what to do to get out of this. I know how to correct it.
All right. So socks. Anybody
Yep.
else want to share before we do the socks? Good kid.
All right. I'm cutting out some coconut right now. Hang on.
All right.
That's a sock. Okay. So our mantra for this month, the ultimate destination of all life is light. I accept the light and the shadows as both support my growth. And we all know water. We've mentioned that a couple of times, but that is our element for this month, water. Our colors are teal and black.
That's red.
No, that's something.
That's from the archetype.
Yeah, that's a Scorpio thing, and that was considered. However,
Thing of this page.
we're including more than just Scorpio. This is taking not only Scorpio into consideration, but also emotional healing and duality.
Where do
We're
I
doing-
find this? This is just on this paper. This is the one I'm using. Is there another thing we should be looking
There
at?
is another one.
This?
Is That's just straight up Scorpio.
Oh.
So you go into the moon circle.
Okay.
It's actually tagged at the very top. All the details are tagged at the very top.
Okay.
And there is a new topic that should be at the very top as well, especially if you refresh, it'll be there, called course correction, and all the information is in there. So it's
Okay.
taking Scorpio into consideration, but with teal and black. It's taking black is because it incorporates all the colors, all the feels, all that emotional healing, all the duality of any possibility that could be on the other side of that fence. And then, of course, that passion and the depth of the Scorpio. So it's taking all of that into consideration. So black is the color. And then teal, I like the fact that it's teal instead of a blue or a green, that we're honing in on a color that you can choose what spectrum of teal that you feel, that you like, that you want to consider. It gives you an idea of a kind of a direction that you want to take it, right? Does it feel more blue to you? Does it feel more green to you? If it's more blue, it's probably going to be a little more in depth of that emotional healing part. If it is more green, it's going to be more of the heart chakra and the self-love. So you get to choose what shade of teal you would like and consider it your own personal truth, right? Your own clarity color. Our stone is topaz. And the topaz, Tracy, when we do this, I was just thinking, because Scorpio was so close to the new moon this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want that to get confused, because we'll do the actual zodiac of the month, whatever, when we enter that sun sign, which is, of course, the new moon too, but we'll enter that just focused on the zodiac sign on the 22nd of each month.
Okay.
But we only use a piece of that for our overarching topic of the month.
Okay. I'm fine.
Well, Lamar got incredibly confused about it yesterday. I spent a long time trying to explain it to her.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to confuse anyone, and I think
I know you didn't.
We'll
I'm going to
take-
use both of them for my vision board. I'm
Absolutely.
incorporating both of them into my vision board. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we'll only have a couple more of those like that, and it'll change a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we verbalize that distinction.
We're not
Okay.
just pulling stuff out of our whatever.
what's that?
I said, we're not just pulling stuff out of our, whatever.
Oh.
You're such a Southern lady. My whatever. Pulling stuff out of my whatever. So cute.
Whatever egg we got.
All right, so our stone is a topaz, and topaz is all about manifestation and that clarity, self-trust, but being able to see the other side of grief and situations, trauma that you've experienced, being able to see the other side of that. It also helps with emotional patterns. Speaking of Lamar, I guess her ears were burning. Okay.
Oh,
No, she can't make it tonight. Okay.
that's-
So being able to help with those emotional patterns that constantly reoccur, so we can kind of slow those down and course correct them into a direction that we want instead of a downward spiral. So topaz is really good for that. Our metal, we're going to stick with lodestone. We had lodestone last month, and I know technically it's not a metal, but we're plugging it in there. It is perfect for the attraction to something, right? It is a magnet. So as we are course correcting, let's use that to magnetize into the direction we want to go. Our herbs, incense, essential oils, even foods, we'll just go on and do all those together. You know, we can plug them into whatever form we get them. Clove, ginger, coconut, blackberry, and we're throwing some sushi in there for food this go around. So whether you eat fish or not, you can have, you know, you could do seaweed sushi, you could do vegan sushi, but we're going to encourage some sushi exploration. Our plant is an aloe that is all about emotional healing, complete emotional healing, the soothing of the soul, of the emotional healing. Our planet is Pluto. And, you know, that's total Scorpio thing, right?
Why?
It is birth, death, transformate, rebirth. So the whole transformative wheel. But it also commands the spirits of the dead. So that helps with not only, well, it's all of it, right? It's that also that emotional healing, right? Asking of our ancestors or spirits to help us through difficult times, to understand things that we don't understand. But I love it because it falls into that duality thing right now too, because we're hitting that time of the year that the veil is thinnest. So there's that fun with Pluto. Pluto is a very, and as the month goes on, we'll have more Pluto information come out, but Pluto is a very difficult planet. It only comes around a few times in our life, and it is a lot to deal with.
Why does it only come around a few times in your life?
Because how slow it moves in its elliptical orbit around the sun.
You know how many years it is?
Off the top of my head, no, I got to GTS it, but it's 27 and a half. I'm totally throwing that out there. Do not hold me to that, but it's a long time.
It's a long time. I
Well, I
can't
knew
remember
Saturn
either,
was
but
like 29 or 28, so Saturn is slow too.
mhm.
And it's smaller and further away, so it could be a lot more than, it could be twice.
Well, and Saturn is going direct right now,
Mhm.
which is supposed to be a really big deal. I don't know.
Hang on, I'm Googling it.
Yeah, actually, it seems strange to only have.
I wasn't even close. 248 years.
Oh,
What?
wow. I was thinking it was closer than what you said. Yeah, to what you
So
said.
that means that it would not even come through in most people, in a lot of people's lifetimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
That's
we'll take a look
why-
at we'll
That's
take
why
a look at
generational-
Pluto this month, see
Mhm.
where it is and connect it with what we're doing. And oh, there's a little Milo.
Okay, wait, say it again though. What does it mean? Pluto's going direct? Is that what you said?
I said, we'll take a look at it this month, see exactly where it is in its orbit and how that connects with what we're talking about with emotional healing, with course correction. And we'll do that very soon.
But what is it doing? Why is it 248 years? It's doing what?
It circles in its elliptical orbit, it circles the sun every 248 years.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think that got caught up in the Saturn conversation. It was like the two things were going at the same
Yeah.
time.
Sorry.
But that's also why it's sometimes very difficult to let go of generational patterns and cycles, depending on where you're at in that cycle and where it's at in your own chart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We'll take a look at all of that.
This
That is
cycle we got, yeah,
massive.
29 days to play.
We've got lots to cover. And then our days will be the moon day, Monday. And Monday is an emotional day, right? It is about emotion. It's also about communication too. So that will be our day of the month. East is our direction. That is a spiritual direction. And then our animals are the scorpion, obvious reasons, the Scorpio, and the eagle, once again, obvious reasons.
Why is the eagle obvious? Sorry.
That is also considered an animal for Scorpio energy. So yeah, so it's about confidence and courage and determination and all of those, Scorpio qualities, but also kind of unafraid of the unknown. And they can see things at a higher perspective, but yet they're very grounded as well. And, kind of see things at great heights, but yet can stay completely grounded. So it is considered for all the signs have kind of 3 levels, but with the higher level, the evolved level of a Scorpio, that is a better interpretation of a Scorpio energy of an eagle instead of a scorpion that will constantly sting, where, it's an animal of a higher perspective that
Right.
doesn't have the need to sting itself or anything around it.
Because it can take what it wants.
That's
I'm
right.
just kidding.
That's right.
I'm
Those
joking.
talons.
It's 8 o'clock.
All right. Well, that concludes everything. Let's see. Are there any notes? The sushi thing is all about the connection with water. I guess you guys knew that. I didn't say it, but that it is connected to water. Yeah, that covers everything.
I like it.
Coconut connects it's a reflection of our inner self and connects us to our beauty and inner light. Ginger is all about passion and is an aphrodisiac.
I didn't realize it was an aphrodisiac.
Clove is all about passion as well and overcoming any sort of mental weakness. Need.
That was funny. I was finding cloves in my pocket. I'm like, why are there cloves in my pocket? And I know my daughter puts them there for some reason. So I need to figure out why. Like they have some sort of a purpose. When I was grieving a lot, she was putting them in my pocket, and I need to look it up because they didn't just appear there, right?
Emotionally, clove. I call clove oil my shut up brain oil. Like it helps with insomnia and that busy brain at night kind of thing. But for emotions, it helps to quiet things so you can actually process.
My daughter's so sweet. Oh.
And why the coconut?
She said it's the inner, like, the stuff.
Oh, yeah, the coconut, is that what you asked?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I missed it. Yeah.
No, that's fine. The coconut, it shines your own inner light and beauty. It kind of shines that within yourself. And it, it's just kind of a reflection of your inner beauty.
Nice.
So it seems like we're going to have some nice, rich recipes this month, maybe with the coconut and the spices, maybe.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, even the blackberry.
I guess not really in season, but still
I know.
nice and rich.
We're going to try. I don't know. I've had some amazing blackberries lately.
Where are they coming from? Well, I guess you're in the South
Answer
still.
that.
Yeah.
Three.
Oh, so I was actually I was thinking about this topic earlier, and I wrote down some things that I thought were really interesting. So I'll let you guys tell me if you think about this. Like thinking about like the duality, the contrast kind of, and what came to me was like thinking about because of the duality, it's like the opposite of duality is the oneness. And it's like that's where that's what all of life is. And when we have that separation, that's when we really start to feel bad, or the lower vibrations, or just maybe depressed, even that type of thing. And so I started like playing around with words and everything, and it was like the nest, like what is about the nest. And then it was like so then thinking about, what if you changed your mess, like so many times that people, they think about change their message into a mess into a message. But I'm thinking nest, like what does that look like? Like what would that be? And thinking about really just that oneness, the connected, and then thinking about the mess, but going from the mess to the nest. So going from separation to oneness, from dabbling, which would be messing around, the dabbling, to intentionally focus. And then going back to, like I said, fooling around, to actually intentionally playing. And then being like a mess would be thinking about like being dirty. And then the opposite of that would being like that immaculate. And then the chaos to order, and thinking about, what does that look like? Because so many times we judge ourselves, it's like we've heard something, or something from our past comes up, and it's like we automatically go into that judgment, which is typically, you would see it as like a mess, or, how many times we've heard, that disorder, or even like the dabbling thing. It's like, what if we actually looked at the duality of that and said, hey, what if we just really focused in on the intentional focus, and being intentional and using that focus instead of just dabbling? What would our life look like? Or certainly, like I said, I was thinking about for myself, but then, yeah, I had that written down about the butterfly effect being like those micro movements, and seeing that those underlying patterns, the interconnectedness, the constant feedback loops, the repetition, the self similarities, and just seeing, what that really is going to look like in this topic of the course correction, and just felt really called to take a moment to focus on that. So I'm excited to play around with that a little bit more.
Hey, Kathy.
Yeah.
Which one was between dabbling and dirty?
The fooling around being intent, and then the opposite being intentional play, because there's intentional focus and then the intentional play.
Okay, thank you.
I like that a lot.
It does feel good, doesn't it? It really.
That's some deep
yeah.
thinking there, Kathy. You took a deep dive.
Just a few minutes in my brain.
METH. I'm like, and was that what you were saying?
That's what it sounded like at first, but no, mess.
Oh, really?
Oh, because I was
Yeah.
like,
Yes. Oh.
kept trying to. Okay.
Make it make sense.
I'm following math and
The
math.
mess.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Mess, nest, oneness. Yeah. Thinking. Yeah. Using those words, but ever since I've got did my braces, like my teeth are different, and it causes some words to not come out the same as they used to.
Do you have braces now?
Not now. I had them last year,
Oh.
but it's still like the lasting effects on the teeth. It's like I tried to bite my nails or do something, use them like you're not supposed to do, and they just don't work the same.
Oh, was there a flower?
Not really a flower. There is aloe, the aloe plant.
Mhm.
And then, no, there's not. Blackberry, coconut, clove, and ginger
Chrysanthemum is the flower, isn't it?
for
guess-
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Or I don't even.
Chrysanthemum is for Scorpio, right?
It is.
Okay. Because mine is going to be very Scorpio heavy, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So growing up, I hated that my birthstone was a citrine. Now I like it, or a topaz. Sorry, not citrine.
Oh, me too. Because I was always like, topaz is so boring, but they have all different colors. I didn't know that.
We
I
never
thought
saw that. It was just the orange.
And now if you look for topaz, and topaz is kind of hard to find. It's
It
all
is.
citrine. It's like November birthstone is citrine. I'm like, no, it's not. It's topaz, and it wasn't blue. But but now
That's right.
now there's white and blue and yeah.
There's all the colors, aren't there? It's very much like a tourmaline. Having all the different colors, thinking about that. But yeah, that was always did hate that. It was like I could have had, you know, could have had something really pretty, really cool. But and didn't help that I went to a school that wore brown uniforms and
Holding back your creative flow.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. But we're done with that. We're done with all that now. Be as creative as I want to be. It's fun. All right. Y'all have a idea on your intention cycle? Anybody thought about it?
A bit.
I'm going to have so much fun. The
That's
whole
your
month.
intention? I love it. All right. I really thought that last cycle. I was like, yeah, this is infinite possibilities and all that. And then I was like, wow, that was a lot crazier than I thought it was going to be.
I'm always surprised.
Yeah, I was like holding on to the sides of my cycle there.
I don't know exactly what my intention's going to be, but it's going to have something to do with what I do with the darkness. And not necessarily just my darkness, and yes, my darkness. I'm not dismissing that. So yes, my darkness, but also the darkness around me. What am I going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
That is so interesting that you would say that. I woke up the other morning and was thinking about, I've got family coming in for the holidays.
In the darkness.
And I was thinking about familial patterns and all this. And I thought, what if I just said, oh, look, there's another old pattern to deal with, and embrace it like that's new and something I can just embrace it, just bring it to the light and let the light diffuse it.
That's good.
I think that's really important. I really do think there's a lot to be said about that because I've shared about my mom and that controlling thing and everything, and spent some time with her, the last cycle, and every time, it helps to do that, just to say, because I think I shared about this on
I remember you
the
did.
call
You did.
about saying how she was like feeling that she had done something wrong, or either did or didn't do something because I wasn't in the Catholic Church anymore. And I'm like, I'm like, it didn't have anything to do with you, and she's like, but I just don't understand. I'm like, well, you got to understand free will. Okay. Because
Get over
free,
guilt.
Wow, what a teachable
yeah.
moment.
Oh,
Whoa.
it was. And
Yeah.
definitely,
You can choose to go straight to hell if you want.
that was good. And just, yeah, it helps.
But yeah, going
Like
into the
that, though.
holidays, that all of those little triggers come up, and I know that's going to be important to what we were talking about, the
Mhm.
the cycles, right? It's going to be
Mhm.
important to be able to catch them early enough to make that adjustment in time before it can run a moment, a day, a situation, or allow even a family member or
Course correct.
to to do it, let those boundaries, let the family member take everybody down, because of some old family pattern. Yeah, definitely.
Well, and have a response and not a reaction. Have your yeah.
That's good. Yeah. No
Mhm.
reaction.
We'll see. I'll get back to you. And Kathy, the other thing you did on that trip you took, you just set an intention and went with it, and it worked. So that's the other thing, is to start with the intention, right?
That was really powerful. Yes, that is exactly. I think that was very transformational. Which it goes back to the awareness. Like that's what like Kathleen was talking about, with what you were saying earlier about, the awareness of the feeling to get you back to what you really desire. I think that's really important, the feeling in your body. Like, what do you want to feel like? Because so many times, if you're not aware, you, it lands differently than if you, like you said, have an intention or have, not knowing what you want to feel like or experience.
Oh, I got you.
And then,
yes.
and it kind of goes back to like expectation versus reality of our last cycle, but really it feels, the older I get, especially having grown children that, like, cause like you created them, like talking about myself. And then I got to deal with, the consequences of that. And
So I've been kind of thinking about how the other week this friend of ours who who chose to he lives in California. He chose to do the death with dignity thing, because he'd been suffering with ALS for the last 2 years, and it was just completely debilitating. And the conversation that we had before he did that, I asked him about if his faith, and he said he was agnostic, and that he said, I'm going to return to the waves and the wind. And he was a big surfer and mountain biker and the whole thing. He loved nature, and there was just something so beautiful about that, just that, when you guys were talking about how like the going into this Scorpio season and the veil being thin, and you know, and so many of our meditations like have to do with like the elements, and you know, and that we reside in the elements, you know, and there's so much energy in those, you know what I mean? Like, I think everybody knows what it's like to, most people know, you know, that surfing a wave, or being in a really strong wind, or
Yeah.
having your feet digging into the earth or the sand or the whole thing, you know what I mean? There's this like you know, we talked about how easy it is to like kind of separate ourselves from that, and I just think there's something, I think I'd like to explore this cycle around sort of connecting to those I've lost in this cycle, you know, through the elements, this cycle,
Oh, nice.
you know,
Mhm.
that their energy is still there, kind of thing, and that it not still like that it is there, you know, and we are also a part of that. And I don't know, just something.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
It's just a great month to do that in.
Right.
Mhm.
Perfect month, that's for sure.
I don't know if I brought this up the other day on the Scorpio call, but I had just heard this thing about death that I don't think so, because I think I just heard it yesterday. I'd never heard before, where if you think of the person that's dying is leaving the shore, and you know, that's great visualization for that, because that's what he said he was going to do, is be with the wind and the waves. You see that person is leaving the shore, and we're on the shore at the moment, and we're waving bye, but someone else is welcoming. Do you know this? Have y'all heard this? And someone else is welcoming them to another shore. If they're just, it's just over there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's neat.
Just out of our sight. Have y'all heard that before? I didn't say it's a much better visualization the way I heard it, but that's the gist.
Yeah, yeah, that is beautiful. I've heard that in a couple of different ways, whether it be like on land or water. Yeah, kind of like the Rainbow Bridge sort of scenario too. The same concept of there's someone on the other side waiting. Yeah.
You must have some Scorpio in your chart, Ember, all the work that you do with the people who lose animals. You embrace that.
Yeah, I do have a little bit. I have a lot of Pisces too, but it's mostly Aries. Yeah, I do. I don't have trouble talking about it. I think it's really important to talk about death. And you know, this past year, if I ever questioned what direction my career was headed,
Oh,
I
really?
slapped in the face with it over and over and over again. But yeah, I think it's really important to talk about. And it was so interesting. I spent this past weekend with family, and one of them, my aunt, who my uncle died. He was the last of the human deaths in the long line of deaths this year. And I just found it really interesting that how everybody is still so on edge, and talking about it is still really, I don't know, almost taboo. And it was funny to even talk about, or to be together with this, you know, amazing group of women and figuring out what subjects were taboo, of like, well, why can't we talk about that? Why can't we talk about a family member who is in drug rehab? why can't we talk about Uncle Freddie's death and how you are doing Aunt Faye on a daily basis and your grief? Why can't we talk about it was just really interesting. And, at one point I realized I was maybe pushing too much, but I realized so much fear that is passed down in the family over anything and everything, that it's just mind-boggling. These learned behaviors, that was a topic that I brought up constantly of like, well, that's a learned behavior. That doesn't have to be the norm. You learned that. I learned that. We all learned that. And trying to go back to, the ancestors, the grandparents, great grandparents, and having that opportunity to do that with the elders that are still here today, to kind of hone in on why is it like that? Why can't we talk about death? Why is that a strange thing?
When my mom was dying, I knew she was dying, ages before she died, but just even talking to her about it, my sisters would get furious with me. She would try to talk to me about it. I mean, she's 87, okay? And like in the hospital, and she wants to talk to me about death. And I would share it with my sister, like, oh, she was worried, like, what will happen to all of us? And I told her we were going to be fine. And like, we had these talks, And my sister would be like, why are you talking to her about that? She's just going to die. I'm like, no, dude, like, I'm allowed, and no one else will talk to her. Right. And she knows she can talk to me. So that's why she's bringing it up to me. And I'm just going to keep my mouth shut to you from now on,
Yeah, well, it goes back to that fear, that reaction. There's so much fear behind death that to ignore it, to block it out, to not think about it, to pretend
like it's not happening. I mean, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's such
it doesn't exist. Yeah.
it's such a horrible thing, I think, because people don't know how to deal with it. And then there's no, like, the ceremony around it and the beauty of it is lost because they just sit around acting like it's not happening. And then they're like, till the person's like practically dead. And then they're like, oh, well, trying to save their life at every, tiny little thing when they're like, no hope for them,
It
just
can
not
be a
embracing it.
experience. It might not be the greatest experience, but, I shouldn't even say it like that. It didn't, might not be the preferred experience, but it is a part of life and there's no getting around it. And denying it is denying a piece of ourselves and denying those that are passing a piece of themselves.
Yeah.
One thing that breaks my heart, and I know this happens with humans too, but one thing that really breaks my heart, and I always try really hard not to put my opinion into anyone's situation ever. That's number one cardinal rule, right? It's not about my opinion. But the hardest part of doing that is when someone has a pet that's dying and they can't handle being in the room with them when they pass during a euthanasia, or whether it's a euthanasia or not, just during the very end. And that's when I lose it. That's when I have a hard time. That's when I almost go into a panic mode of like, you can't do that. You have to be there with them. They love you. They trust you. They need you. I just have to like be very calm and try not to do that. And I have to use like all of my grounding techniques to keep myself calm, because those are my triggers of don't leave that baby alone ever. Don't be so scared of death that you miss
anyone or anything that you love.
Yeah. Yeah, such an important experience. All right, Scorpio, we've already started off with death and
I know, right? Yes.
in death.
And we're here for this, right?
My mama died in my arms, and I wouldn't have it any other way. There's nowhere else that was just like the most important, besides giving birth to my daughter, the most important moment I've ever showed up for, you know?
Nice. Yes.
What did you feel like her energy pass? Do you mind me asking?
Oh, no, you can ask anything. There was some euthanasia going on.
Yeah.
I watched her. You could just see it. It was actually beautiful.
Mm.
She had struggled so much, and she had been so distressed and so terrified. And then when she let go, it was so simple and soft and sweet.
Mm.
And it was amazing. I mean, it was fucking horrific, and it like made me wish I could go with her. And I mean,
Yeah.
but that exact moment was beautiful. It's hard to say that, but it was, because
It's,
she was set free, you know?
yeah, I mean, it is so sacred to be in the presence of somebody who is being birthed or
Yeah.
Yeah.
leaving this world, you know, dying. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's nothing else on this planet or in your lifetime that makes you feel more alive than witnessing death and birth.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's this meditation, you know, I've been doing a lot of research on psychedelic therapies, and there's this woman that does this meditation called the Ceremony of Living and Dying.
Mhm.
Her name is Dream Mullick. Of course, her name is Dream, y'all. But I signed up to do it. And then the night when it happened was like a Wednesday night. I mean, and I'm going to take mushrooms to do this meditation. And I just wasn't in the frame of mind to do that on a Wednesday night. You know, my house was messy, you know, it was Wednesday night. I had to work the next day. I did not want like to have this sacred experience, like just thrown together, you know, like I want to do candles, and I want it to be sacred, and I want, you know, everything to be clean and perfect. And I want like softness and safety and all the things. But so I recorded it. I like set it up in a room and put one computer like recording another computer so that I have it. And I'm going to do it soon. I'm doing it before my birthday. But basically she takes you through this thing. I heard the first little part of it, but it's basically like through your death, to where you really, and it's to come alive. Like that's the gist of it is embracing life through facing your death. And
Yeah, exactly what we were just talking about,
yeah,
a way to experience it in a profound way outside of like an actual birth and death.
yeah. But I mean, from what I was hearing first, it was like, I just heard the beginning of it, and she was talking about the mycelium web in the earth, and like the foundation of the house the floor that you're laying on, and through the concrete into the dirt, and there's the rocks, and like I could tell where she was going, like she was like taking you into the earth, you know. And then she was saying, feel your bones in your body. I mean, the whole thing was very long, so I only caught the first part of it before I cruised, because I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to listen to it by myself. I wasn't ready. So I have it saved.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exciting. So you're going to do it. What's your actual birth date?
11/11. So I don't know. I'm hoping I'm going to do it probably before I come to Atlanta. I think it's something you could do more than once. You know, it's not like it's like a one-time thing, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I had this. We had I had a dream last night. It was the worst dream. Like I just my husband died, and I cannot tell you, like, and I reacted much differently than I thought, like consciously I would react to his death. Like it was 100 times worse. And when I woke up and I saw him laying there next to me, I cannot tell you. I noticed one of the words we have is gratitude. I cannot tell you like how incredibly grateful I was, like, to wake up. I almost started to cry, because it was just so vivid. And
Wow.
yeah, and but it's like it was so powerful. It did sort of like kind of wake me up to, I mean, we've been married 13 years, and you know what I mean? I adore him, and it's easy to just, when they're always there, to just, I guess, take people for granted in ways. And I love that, the way that things can, dreams can just like smash through our consciousness and remind
Yeah,
us
that's like
how,
that. Terrifying.
yeah, like how important, people can be to us and things.
The worst are when you have those about your kids. Those are just the fucking.
Yeah.
How's everyone coming along with their masterpiece?
Slowly.
Getting there.
Slowly. Yeah.
So recently I redid my office and I realized that I decorate my office like my vision board. Like my vision boards and my office, like very much the same thing. Like that is
For
strange.
example,
Just like very, like if I look around my office, it looks very much like every vision journal entry that I create. It's like it's very collagey and very like I seem to create a lot of order in my visions, very like columns, like those columns and that kind of thing, instead of, I mean, it's still a collage, but I seem to put myself in order, which is kind of, I think, really interesting because I'm not that person, but I mean, so going back to that, that could definitely be something to explore, the duality of that.
So barky.
barking, snoring.
Oh my God. I
Really?
love that.
That it?
Snoring is the best.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Are y'all hearing? Is mine?
awesome.
Is that what y'all are hearing?
Draven's snoring. He's right under the desk. right
Mine is
next to me.
snoring too.
Oh, yours is too.
Yeah, so I'm like, are y'all hearing her snore? Oh man.
Kathy or Ember or anybody jump in there. Talk to me a little bit more about duality.
Did you
Okay,
say
what do you?
trust? Is that what you said? Can we-
Duality.
oh, gotcha.
Okay. I was
What do
giving
you want to
Kathy a
know?
moment
What do you?
start.
I was gonna say, yeah. Well, what are you thinking? Like what?
Well, you put it in here because
Okay.
There.
So with Scorpio, I'm stalling because there's something I'm looking up, a line that I want to say perfectly as
all you
I
want.
go
I'll
here.
find something to write on.
but But the thing with duality that works so well with here with Scorpio and with the emotional healing energy and what we're doing here is that it helps ourselves see another side of something, that it's not always cut and dry, it's not always black and white. And I think a lot of Scorpios will agree that sometimes they get a bad rap because they're always so
Gray.
blank, right? Extreme.
Well, for
Extreme.
me as a Scorpio, I don't know black and white. I only
Only
know
know
gray.
gray.
Exactly.
That's funny.
So that's why it's like,
Particular
what, there's something else?
Um, oh
Or
shoot,
you-
it's not
Well,
where
or
I'm
you see
looking at.
people going black and white and you're like, no. You know what I mean? That's just it.
Well,
Like,
the way I was kind of hearing the duality in this month was the light and shadow aspects of ourselves.
Yes, yes, I like that. Okay.
Well, even the eagle and the scorpion, you know, it's like that you can't get any more opposite than that, right?
Duality.
So
And everything you were reading out, Kathy, was dualities. That's
yes.
what you had. Okay. Okay.
just gathering images. That's what I do in this thing. I think I'm going to make a huge, well, not huge, but a good size collage that's going to be like a piece of art, like do it the really hard way. And then take a picture of it for the journal.
And just have this as your like restart of the year.
Well, yeah. And it's just my Scorpio
Yeah.
collage art that I've been wanting to do a big one for a long time. I have another idea, but I got to do this one anyway. So, you know, here we are. I've got to, right? No choice.
The soul acceleration for last November is where we draw all the inspiration for these. And the duality, the reason that we came up with the duality is the card for that will, you know, starts for November, connected to this topic this month is about the spirit of water. And if you think of that duality of, and even the photo that we chose for the month of, you've got the woman who is above water and below water.
That's duality there.
Exactly. Yeah. She could be completely the other side, you know, her head out and underneath, right? Like it is, we tend to like to draw a line that there's a line in the sand. Let's keep using these water metaphors. Drawing a line in the sand. That this is right, this is wrong, this is black, this is white, this is grief, this is normality, this is, so we draw these lines in the sand, this is trauma, this is joy, that we tend to live our lives by, or we're taught, learned behaviors, we're taught to live certain ways. And we tend to just accept it and go, especially in, you know, deeper conversations, deeper waters that we don't necessarily feel comfortable navigating in. It's easier to just continue on with that duality. Does it serve us well? That's what we're exploring. Yeah. Yeah. But I couldn't think of the
Come back
actual name
to-
of the card, and I wanted to look it up, and it's
Thank
the
you.
spirit of water. I thought it had something a little more to do with duality, and it doesn't, but it's the spirit of water.
But it mentions that duality. But it really, like, I think about that, like the biggest thing is being like the scorpion and the eagle. I mean, you cannot get any more opposite than that, I guess. Maybe
Right.
if you took a water creature.
The eagle swoops down and eats the scorpion.
So I'm I'm
right.
running with the dolphins this cycle for, I don't know what that is, but it feels good.
Dolphin?
Uh-huh. I'm petting the
Dolphins are good
dolphins
for
on the
every.
run.
I have that in the meditation.
That's
So
what I know. That's
for some reason, when I was cutting out pictures in magazines for this journal page, I kept cutting out fire. And I had to stop
Ooh.
myself because fire, I had to go back and look. And I was like, no, it's water. It's not fire. And I wonder if anybody else, when they think of Scorpio, think of fire. And maybe it's because of passion.
Desert,
Oh, okay.
desert heat, maybe.
burn.
Burn.
Feel the burn.
Well,
Well,
water
that's all
and fire are
duality, right? Fire,
duality.
water.
Duality, water, fire.
Opposite.
Exactly.
Oh,
And on
speaking of duality,
duality, I think of the feminine masculine too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
One of my words
sure.
for 23 is harmony, so I've been looking at that.
oh, you've already chosen.
Nice.
Part of it, not all of it. And then also like the two sides of the spine and the nervous system, like I'm going there this year.
I think that's good. Yeah. That's strong, stable. I've thought about a few words, but I don't have anything solidified. I did possibilities this last year, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh,
I'm
and
thinking about
dolphins-
passion.
What's
What's that?
I was
I'm
gonna say,
sorry.
dolphins in the Power Animal Oracle, it's all about play.
Play, of course.
I saw a
You know-
shark the other day in the wild. That was fun.
What did you see?
I didn't
So-
understand what y'all were talking about a minute ago.
About what?
The last thing you were talking about,
Duality?
no, after that, you said, oh, you've already figured it
Dolphins?
out for this year, and you were talking
Oh,
about
a
the
word,
system
your
and-
word for the year.
Yeah, the word of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll definitely encourage word of the year as we get closer to the first of the year. It's kind of your year's intention, pulling it down into one word.
Oh, the picture for, I was gonna say this a long time ago. The picture for this month, the girl and the like the ropes or whatever.
Huh?
So what that reminded me of, in Peru, they do rope therapy for surrendering. Like there's also the kink side of that. Okay, if you look it up in America, you're gonna find that. But if you look it up from Peru, it's actually a healing therapy. And they literally like tie you in all these different positions. And the point is to release and surrender against the ropes kind of thing. So that your picture reminded me of that. So surrender, and it's kind of what I'm thinking for this month. Again, you know, like if you surrender, it's easier to course correct much quicker, you know, if you're not resisting.
sure.
it.
Right, less resistance. Yeah, you can glide.
So anyways, but for those Scorpios who want to go look at it, go for it. Because it's very interesting.
It's really funny because I just saw this post from my burlesque teacher who was
Mhm.
looking for models to be tied up with ropes.
Yeah,
And right before you said that, I was like, I'm in.
yeah.
And then you said that, and I was like, what?
There's that side that's like, you know, and there's like clubs and everything for all that kind of stuff. It's kind of interesting. But because I was looking for the Peru version in America and couldn't find it. I couldn't find the therapeutic version. It was all just about sex. So, which is, you know,
Well, there's no sex happening.
well,
for
no,
this.
it's not like it's sexual versus a therapeutic emotional release, which could happen at the same time, I guess. But there was a
Yeah.
very big difference in if you find the retreat in Peru and what America has when you look up ropes and stuff. So, anyways,
So
just
also-
beware if you look into it.
Joe, desire would make me think of fire, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I guess water would be quenching that desire.
Okay. Yeah, I like that
I don't
too. Yeah.
Okay, so now we need to be noted. We're talked about death, check mark, birth, and now sex. Okay, what else? What else we got?
This is safe space, baby.
on the fire thing for me, because I'm an Aries, but I've always like had Scorpio or why can't I think straight right now? I was gonna say Scorpion. No, Scorpios. They're always very balancing for me, like Kathy, for instance. But some of my lifelong friends, they're all Scorpios of some kind. But then, like I said the other day, I was married to a Scorpio moon, and that didn't work out. But that was because he was not in his power and his healing and his growth and all of that. I think if he had, it would have, right? But that's in retrospect. But and honestly, I didn't even know that was his moon until like this time last year. And I was like, really? Because typically I'm very attracted to that, either friends or other. And I thought that could have been something that would have been more balancing because we were both Aries. We have the same birthday, different years. And so the moons made us very different though, because I'm an Aquarius moon and he was the Scorpio moon. So, that actually caused a lot of incompatibility that I would have thought might have been explosive. But I've always thought of the Scorpio Aries as the fire and water balancing, like the yin and yang kind of thing, not so much a quenching. Like the water keeps the fire grounded and the fire keeps the water from going too far, too deep, too long. It brings them up for air because fire needs air. So I always think of it more as a balancing thing with like as far as Aries and Scorpio. So
I like that.
So maybe you were thinking, so maybe wherever you're Scorpio sun, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm
You're-
Scorpio. I'm
Yeah.
November the 9th. Yeah.
Do you know what your moon is?
My moon is Gemini.
Okay.
Is that right?
Ooh,
So
I
that's-
need to, no, Gemini is my descending. Is that my
okay.
moon?
No,
Okay, I've got to figure it out. I'm just starting to learn about my chart. So
it'll be like your sun sign, your moon sign, and then your ascending. And there is a descending too, but usually it's the top first three. They kind of tell you your strongest, the
so
way
the
you
ascending
feel.
as well?
Yeah.
ascending
It's
is
sun, moon, and
Sagittarius.
rising is what it is. Sun, moon, and rising. So your sun, moon, and ascending. Your ascending is like, I don't know, like your sun is like your true self, right? And your moon is how you process emotions. And this is very generic on the explanations. And your rising is kind of like how you mix it all together and how the world sees you. But
They,
on
they call it,
what'd you say?
that they call it different names. Like it's not always ascending, is it?
Rising.
It's sun, moon,
Like you
and
said, it's the
rising.
rising. Yes, right.
That's
Yes.
yeah. And depending on where they're at in your chart, the ascending and there's like your rising is always the same, but in your chart, different things can be ascending and descending, depending on the placement. So, but the fire, to me, I think it's very balancing. So that's what I started to say. Wherever your Scorpio stuff lands in your chart, you may need the balance of the fire. And so you're feeling that. So you need to bring that element in or whatever. I like all the Chinese medicine stuff on the elements. I have a friend who that's her thing is the elemental life. And I'm very drawn to that because it's definitely a lot from the Asian cultures and that kind of thing. But so you can look up like foods to eat to help your fire energy and like that kind of thing. So they've got lots of cool stuff like that on balancing things. But that's what, if you were drawn to that and you are a Scorpio, then I would say that that's yourself telling you need some balance.
That's
Like there was a time when, was it I think it was something, was it you saw it in the Reiki maybe? But like my fire needed ice. My feet were in ice because I needed ground. So, you know, and I'm
Your whole
Aries.
body was in ice.
Yeah,
Like that was what
for a
was so
while.
crazy.
But then it balanced out, right? Later, like several months later, it was different. It was something different. I remember it was balanced. But anyway, so when water and fire come up together, there's opportunity for major harmony, but you might need the other, you know, for a while.
To create the balance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then is Gemini, what sign is Gemini?
You're reading my mind.
Air.
That's what I thought. So air and water. That's an interesting combination. Do you
Like
know,
lots of
Tracy
steam,
talks a lot
right?
about, what'd you say?
Steam, air and water.
Yeah. Well, and Gemini is all about duality, completely and totally.
Mhm.
They live in duality.
Zach
Like
is
almost
Kimberly.
sometimes two split personality level. Like
Mhm.
they live with their shadow constantly. Like there's two people. I have almost all of our so when I was married, all of our siblings except for once were Gemini. It's an interesting
That's a lot of
creation
people.
of a family. But my brother, who is the Gemini, who I feel is true Gemini, he's like the work hard, play hard, like still, and he's 40, you know, and he's still partying like a teenager, but he works his butt off in his own business too. So it's very like, there's both, you know.
He
If you
says
get-
that's balance.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that's Gemini is all about duality as a person. So I would definitely dig into that for you, especially if that's your moon. That's how you're processing emotions is
I
through
think I'm
duality.
wrong about that if it's air, because I remember reading something in my chart where it said I didn't have any air.
Oh,
So I think that's not, that
okay.
can't be
I was gonna
right.
say that's the Gemini with the Scorpio would be I would want to pick that person's brain.
Yeah.
Observe.
This is for Kimberly. Zach is a Gemini Scorpio. That's what he is.
Oh, really?
Shocking. It's like a double, it's, he's split down the middle, right?
Oh, completely.
Not anymore, though. I don't think we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. We'll see.
Oh,
Too
come
soon.
on.
Too
All
soon.
right. I'll
You
show you
got
what I
your
got
book
so
here.
far. My favorite thing you probably can't see. There's a lady down here in the bottom of the waterfall from another picture swimming.
That's awesome.
You probably can't see her.
Yes.
I've got Make a Wish for my birthday. I've got Pluto here. There's a lot going on in my waterfall. We got Happy Birthday. My socks are here. Then I incorporated the Scorpio archetype there. I'm still under construction because I want to fill in my spaces, but yeah, that's what I got
Beautiful.
so far. It's so much fun.
That looks nice.
So much fun. I've really learned to appreciate these, doing the work from the workshop, because what I didn't get to say the other day when I got cut off was just this feeling of the energy that came off of the work from the workshop. I hadn't ever felt anything like that before. And I think that's probably what you guys feel all the time, working your stuff through the moon cycles. So this, I had put so much thought into the workshop stuff. This is like coming back and doing, and that's what I was trying to explain to Lamar too. No, the workshop's different. The archetype stuff is different. This is different. You got to compartmentalize everything.
Yeah, but it's the same.
You're down the rabbit hole now.
But it's all the same. And the work is the key, and the key is the work. And yeah.
Yeah.
So very energizing.
Well,
So I'm hoping
thank you.
to have that
Thank you.
experience with this.
Joe, for plugging that, and you all, the workshop is free for you.
Yeah, I
guys.
heard. Now I'm like, I gotta check out the workshop.
And you could do it whenever you want. Like you could just pop in and do a minute or two and pop back out. And it's just yours to utilize whenever. And there's only a little bit in the very beginning. And then you start with the new moon and go through. So you can even do it simultaneously with us as we do it, knock out the beginning whenever, and then, hit a new moon, or you don't have to. You could do it anytime. It doesn't matter. It's just make it yours. It's yours. It's fun. And it's going to be interesting as you incorporate it after the next month, obviously. Thank you, Joe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I have a request for you guys. I did in Facebook, I did a live in Manifest with the Moon. And I said in there about divine art alchemy and our the moon cycles that we have inside of the academy. And I said, maybe if some of you ladies that do this would respond to that video, would be really awesome in the comments, that way you don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to, but I've said at the end of it that if anybody wants to comment about like how this work is, how much you enjoy the work, or anything that you want to add, that would be
Where is
super.
it? So where is it?
It's in Manifest with the Moon on Facebook. It's the
Okay.
video of me by myself, and just
How long ago?
said, it was Wednesday or Thursday or something.
Okay.
It was one of the days that last week, but I was like, I love this. I love and I love seeing, a full house here, because it really makes it fun. But it's nice to hear, if you guys want to share it there, that would be great. And also, we have the Soul Acceleration coming up, and I don't know how many people have signed up for that yet, but if you haven't, or if you come in and haven't RSVP, we'd love that. If you want to share, Ember and I are offering free sessions for if you share and have people join. We put your name in a drawing, and we'll be happy to offer free one-on-one sessions. So just something to keep in mind, because that's the key is, it's like we get so much out of this that it's really cool to to share just those wins, because I definitely love hearing anything, any feedback, but it does make it fun. So just wanted to put that out there, because like I said, I know everything that we do is in the academy, but we still are active in the Manifest with the Moon group too. So if you think about it, you can jump over there. But thank you. All right, you're gonna share yours. I like it. You got to get closer.
I
Your
know.
virtual
The whole
background.
virtual
So-
thing. How's this gonna work? I hate this.
No, it's not gonna work. I know. You're gonna post it in the
Finger.
academy.
There's a finger. Hey.
Okay, that's your finger.
Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, post it in the academy and I wonder if you can take Zoom off and put it back on or something. Take it off of your computer and put it back on. I don't think it
Yeah.
works that way, does it?
I've done not the computer, I've done it on the phone, but yeah, I did a sign out, restart, the whole thing. I've got to touch base with them with Zoom to figure out what the deal is. I was even going to suggest that on Halloween that we do like some little virtual thing where we're all in a, like a haunted house. And
Ooh.
anyway, it looked really cool until I got stuck in this. Ask anybody to do that. No, never mind.
I
Yeah.
what was I about? Oh, I just put a comment, Kathy.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, you're quick. I wasn't expecting it that soon, but okay.
Well, you said it. I'm like, let me do it while
I
I'm thinking.
did. Yeah.
While you're thinking about
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, don't. So here's mine. So I realize I still have lots of play. I don't have a lot of dark on mine. So I'm like, I guess I'm still in the love and so so I got gay dolphins though. So I thought that was
Oh yeah.
got my gay dolphins. But I wanted to
Are you
put my
saying
door
gay
right in the middle.
dolphin?
That's what it sounded
Gay,
like.
it is gay dolphins. That's what it says, gay dolphin.
How do you know he's
That
gay?
feels good.
the gay topping on math.
Oh, yeah.
You need that. Yes.
And
so-
now we've touched on drugs and that.
Bestiality we have going on.
Where's my check mark? Okay, let's see.
We're
Check it off.
politically correct now.
Only the new moon.
Oh, that's funny. So so typically I put myself on here, but I'm going to see this as myself of looking at the beach and looking at and really visualizing when I'm at the beach, like the waves, like it's that it's just like the breath or that in and out. Yeah, it feels really good. So put that there. And then I don't have any words yet. That's going to be my next. This is my office though. Like it's very, like I have one whole wall is a bookshelf. So that's what it's like. It's weird how it just mirrors it. So, and there was a little dog here. I don't want a dog. So I had to put a heart because I want lots of love. But I like the whole, the doorway and this just felt really warm and inviting. And of course, a big old crystal at my doorstep here. And then, looking at the much of the socks and the Pinterest. And then I had double eagles because they need a buddy flying together. So it feels good. My book's getting heavy now.
Mm.
I was thinking about that too. So one last thing before we go, because I was like thinking about like today and looking at the cycles of, where we do start with, we start on fire. Yes. We start in Capricorn. Is that right?
Aries.
No, Sagittarius.
Aries is the beginning
Aries.
of the zodiac. Yeah.
Right. But our books, like where we go, like it's really balancing between the calendar and the zodiac. Like, it's like, because like thinking of that, of like, that's where I was like getting into the duality and ended up in the whole other place. But walking those two worlds of like the spiritual world versus the earthly world, because
Material. Yeah.
because we're this is the material world. We're creating it out of our spiritual world. And so yeah, I was thinking about like, starting from, because we'll finish next month. So that'll be we'll end on fire. Well, right.
Yeah, we've got a while to go. We're finishing because of soul acceleration is what you're thinking of. We
Right.
start new soul acceleration.
So is Soul
Right.
Acceleration not January 23? It's just you do it in November, so it's done for the coming year, right?
Yeah, so we have it ready to
Okay.
roll, laid out for us.
Right.
Don't have to think about it. We don't have to deal with holidays and trying to fit things
Mhm.
in. We already know our word of the year. We already have said goodbye to what we no longer need for this year. We're in a good space during the holidays and we can hit the ground running in January.
And
So
then,
yeah, that's the
so I
best
didn't,
explanation.
I
of it.
wasn't on that last year. So was it like a separate paid thing?
It is not. It's not
Okay.
paid. And
It's
it is
free.
the free segment of the Academy, and we'll create a new topic that has 2023 Soul Acceleration. There is one now, and we'll just get rid of it and start a fresh one.
Actually, we move it to the bottom. Typically, like it'll still be in.
It's still
Right?
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say we still keep it there. I was thinking we don't get rid of it, but typically things get moved down so that they're still there for reference if you want to go back.
You know, the good stuff at top.
And do we need
Yeah.
anything different than what we bring on these kinds of meetings?
Say that
You don't
again?
even need to have any of this. We won't be
Oh, okay.
creating a journal.
It's
It's going to be,
laying out. Okay.
it's participate, you can join in the discussion. But yeah, and we are going to do a meditation. So it's a meditation and then a saying goodbye. And then just, literally like planning it out for the next
We
cycle.
just start drawing cards for
Mhm.
each month.
Okay. And do you start a new book every year, Kathy? Or do you keep going?
I do. No, that's what I was thinking, because like, when I very
So
first started,
big,
I
I
had the
can,
same
like-
book. But yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't get any
Do
bigger
you
than
just use a
that.
sketchbook? Is yours just a sketchbook with blank pages?
It's the one that's in the Academy that we
Oh,
we linked it with the Amazon. There's an Amazon link and it has all of this stuff. Like, I mean, yeah, and it actually is it not? It's in our email
Welcome,
every cycle.
new members. No, it's not in the email. No, do you want me to
Okay,
do that? I can do that though.
we might want to do that. Yeah, just to make it easy. But yeah, that's what it is. So yes, I just take that and then I just decorate it. So that being like
okay.
and make it
Cool.
fun. But yeah. So anybody else want to share before we hop off? And thanks for being patient. It's so crazy because some of these, it seems like we get done so quickly and then got lots to say this month.
Yeah, I'm still working on mine.
I love that y'all post them in the group though. I love that.
Yeah, and I'll
Do
share.
y'all
photo
ever
of
go
my
through?
before and after.
Do y'all ever go through the section where you can share yours and just look back at the old ones? I
Yeah.
think they're so beautiful. It really inspires me. So, right,
Okay.
this feels good.
All right. Let's do a little howling. Not yawning, howling.
She's like, I got my breath.
I was just getting ready.
Okay, take a super deep breath in and out. Okay, at the top of this one, you know what to do. I love you all. Happy new moon.
Happy new moon. Happy manifesting.